What's up, everyone? This is Citlalli Nahuatl from Nicantlaca Women Warriors and Nicantlaca University. And today I am honored with the presence of my brother Cuitlahua. I want you all to meet a great person who I have met and have been working with over the last year. And it's really important for me to share this information with you because his work is amazing as far as introducing and teaching Nahuatl to our community. And today I wanted you to know about him, his journey, and what he's doing to help decolonize our people. So with that, Cuitlahua, thank you very much for joining me on this interview. And if I can please ask you where the idea emerged for you to teach Nahuatl courses, what inspired you, what was that journey like?
So it all started, Cuitlahua is my real name, so I've had this name since birth. I knew that I was not, just American or just Mexican. I knew that there was something else, but it was never taught to me. Um, Flash forward about 4 years ago, I went to Mexico City, Tenochtitlan, and I just fell in love with everything, the people, the culture. I didn't have to explain how to pronounce my name. And I just fell in love. And when I was in El Zócalo, there was this energy that I felt, like it was this energy, and I just felt, and I was overcome with all this energy, and I just started crying. And my friend was like, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying?" And I'm like, "I'm just crying. It just feels good to be here. Like the tears of joy. Then ever since that, like then I started reading books, started reading about the history, about my indigenous roots, about what lands I'm on, the Tongva land, what lands I was born in, Kumeyaay and Kokopa, and where my ancestors are from as well. The oldest ancestor that I know of is from Nayarit, so I may have some Huichol blood, some Wirarica blood. My grandparents are from Hayamitla, Xalixco, so I may have Nahua, Kashkan, Tecuesche, and Purepecha blood as well. And flash forward a year later, I see an event on Facebook, free Nahuatl beginners class. 60 people showed up, and ever since then, every single Sunday, we teach and we learn Nahuatl to the community on a community level. So we take, just basic words to teach the community, and our goal is to be able to speak to native speakers. There's over 1 million native speakers. I've seen figures about 1.5 million to 1.7 million native speakers, just alone in Mexico, and that's not counting the Nahuatl diaspora, where Nahuatl speaking people around the world.
And
Yeah.
how do you see Nahuatl? What role does learning Nahuatl have in our decolonization as a people? What have you seen happening in our community or within your own students? What has been that process like?
It's been an amazing process. Nahuatl has been, it's every single language, it's its own worldview. So learning Nahuatl, it's a language that my ancestors most likely spoke because it was lingua franca of Mesoamerica. So it's made me view the world from an indigenous point of view. And that's very important because my ancestors might have spoken this language. And to me, it's a very beautiful language. It's a very beautiful language. Even saying my heart, YOLO, it's just like, YOLO, I just feel it in my heart, the word tlasotlalisli, love, nimitz tlasotla, I love you. It's just so beautiful. It just stresses, like, ni yoltetic, I'm brave, like comes from yolot and tetic, strong, like a rock, tetic. It's just so beautiful. And me teaching the language is the way that I show my love for my people and helping them decolonize. A lot of our people are stuck just, being mad and just like, forget the Spanish. But what can you do to help our people go past that? You start learning our ways. One of them is language. Language is identity. Language is what makes us. So that's how I see Nahuatl. Nahuatl empowers us because it makes us think from our ancestors' point of view. And yes, Nahuatl is not the only language because there's 68 languages within Mexico alone. So my next one is Purepecha.
And beautiful. If I can ask you, what type of, if you could talk to us more about the structure of Nahuatl. I think a lot of people are confused between what we read in the books on classical Nahuatl to what is being taught in your courses. Can you explain the differences so to educate people on that? Because I think a lot of us are confused when we hear the different variations of Nahuatl. That would really help.
Yes, so there's classical Nahuatl and then there's modern variants. So classical Nahuatl was spoken by the Mexica nobility and is no longer spoken, but it's studied intensively. And there's a lot of resources, a lot of dictionaries. And the rest of the population spoke common person speech. So the common person speech, it was because Mesoamerica was large, so it was spoken in different parts. And because it was lingua franca being the common language that everybody spoke for trade, for exchanging information, for politics, it was in different parts. So these dialects evolved independently from each other. So now that's why we have 30, almost 40 dialects. So there's a lot of variety in this language. So you'll see many different ways to say different things. There's many different ways to say I love you. Nimitzneki, Nimitztlazotla, Nimitziknelia. There's many ways to say these things. There's many ways to say hi. There's Piali, there's Niltse, there's Panolti. There's many ways.
And lastly, can you talk about the structure of the courses that you teach, where people can go, what can they expect their first lesson when they arrive at your location? What should they be prepared for? What's something that you would like them to know ahead of time so that way they could really, maximize their lessons and their experience?
Come with open heart, open mind. This is a different way of teaching. We teach in a circular way, not in a linear way where you're just sitting down and there's a person teaching you and you're taking notes. We teach orally. So a lot of our indigenous languages are taught that way, orally, just listening. Just think about when you were a kid and you're just like listening to your parents, talking and talking to you, so you eventually start talking, right? Well, this is kind of the approach that we do. Our main goal is to be able to speak to native speakers. So we start by saying basic words. Piyali. We go around in a circle and every single person repeats it. Piyali, piyali, piyali. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to pronounce it. It takes time. It takes consistency. You can bring a notebook and you can bring a pencil and you can write it down, but we recommend that you're open to a different way of learning because this is the way our ancestors taught it. Traditions and languages, how to grow corn. That's a different way of learning, and it's efficient because it helps you start a conversation already. Like it jumps you right in. You're completely immersed in it.
Beautiful. And our last question is for people that want to learn Nahuatl, where can they find your lessons? Where are your courses located? Where can they go for more information?
So we're at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. every single Sunday at 12 p.m. It doesn't matter if you've never studied Nahuatl ever. You're more than welcome to come. La Plaza de Cultura y Artes is right behind La Placita Albera, right next to the church. So right in the center of El Pueblo de Los Angeles. It's every single Sunday, 12 p.m., rain or shine. We're there teaching the community. I also teach online. You can go to Speak Nahuatl on Instagram. I teach online via Google Hangouts and Skype. It's the same approach, but those are one-on-ones. And it's more catered to the student, and it's more of a personal thing. And it's the same approach, just on a one-on-one basis.
Beautiful. Tlasakomati, Brother Cuitlauac. This is Citlalli signing out here from Nicantlaca Women Warriors, Nicantlaca University. And I will be providing the sources and the class lessons underneath the description of this video. So please check it out. Cuitlauac and I also do the podcast Decolonial Zanili. It's every last Sunday of the month. So I will also post that here. So Brother Cuitlauac, Tlasakomati for all your work. If you guys are watching this, please check it out. It's beautiful to decolonize through language as well. So, Brother Tlasakamati.
Tlasakamati, Teipanok.